everyone, this is Charmaine. I'm the founder and Chief Digital Marketing Officer at Sky Digital Agency. And in today's video, I'd like to share with you some of the tools that I use to map out social media goals for ourselves and our clients. And today I'm going to share with you two frameworks. One of them is called the SWOT analysis that you might be familiar with. And actually, a lot of our participants and clients are also surprised when we use the SWOT analysis to help them find out what are some short-term and long-term goals that they can have for their social media marketing in 2021. So even though we are into February right now, CNY is around the corner, it's never too late to look at your social media and even your digital marketing goals, right? So with the tools and insights shared with you today is based on our own agency and how we use the SWOT analysis for ourselves. And I might have some case studies and examples for you on how we share it with our clients. So without further ado, let me share with you my slides. Right, so this is my screen here today, social media marketing goals for 2021. Before we get started, I'd just like to actually, just run you through a little bit about myself. I'm Charmaine, and I'm also the founder of Sky Digital Agency. We rebranded in 2014. It was then called Clee Designs. I'm a designer by training, do both web and graphic design. Of course, because we were doing so much more digital, so much more CRM solutions for our clients in 2013 that we felt that we really needed to rebrand so that we can actually communicate better. And I also have another company called The Good Designers, but we fully focus on creative training, infographics design, HTML coding, graphic design. So I teach at other schools. I partner with other of collaborative agency partners as well as a consultant. But I have some digital marketing courses with IAL, Institute for Adult Learning. If you are following us and you got to know me through Institute for Adult Learning, thank you. Let me know. Drop a hi, say hello in the comments. I also teach three digital marketing modules at Aventus. Some other ATOs we call authorized training organizations in Singapore, blended concepts, experience, and so on. This Aventus, this is at Nian Poly, Temasek Poly, IAL. I was also in Indonesia doing some talks, Philippines as well. That's our ambassador on the far left in blue, right, in Philippines. And this was the talk that I gave in Philippines. I was also in Mauritius last year in February. So this is a SWOT analysis, all right? So SWOT analysis, how do we use it? Okay, so the thing about this framework, SWOT analysis, is to ask yourself, what are your strengths as a company, as an individual, compared to your competitors? What are the opportunities out there when we're talking about social media? So I'll just talk about the strengths and opportunities first. So our strengths is that we are relevant as an agency. So we not only launch ads on our own in our agency, we launch it for our clients, we teach it, right? So that makes me more relevant as a trainer. A lot of trainers, they just do the management, they don't do the actual execution of the social media design, the strategy, right? Sometimes nowadays I don't design my own, but a majority of the feed on our Instagram, on Sky Digital Agency's Instagram feed are actually designed by me, right? So I stay relevant. So those are my strengths. I want to be involved and I want to be hands-on. The second is, what are the opportunities? So then I will look at social media. What are the opportunities, right? I mentioned this in one of my videos on Instagram that YouTube is not only a video platform, it is the second largest search engine. So those are the opportunities. It is a search engine. Just imagine one day we are no longer readers. We all want video content, right? And even today, I must admit that I am still not a reader. Although I borrow books, but my books are a little bit different. If you've seen one of my videos on the book on 101 advertising, things that Tracy Errington and Matthew Frederick wrote. Those are the types of books that I read. I'm not the type who read like word after word. I do, but I usually don't finish a whole book. Okay, so that I admit. So ask yourself, what are opportunities, right? For Facebook and Instagram, what are the opportunities? I would say that I would definitely put in more effort as an individual, whether to brand myself or for my agency's positioning in the market. I would put in more effort in Instagram than on Facebook. But not saying that we are going to give low quality. So we are showing up, but with different types of contents, because social media graphics does not work very well on Facebook, whereas Instagram, it works very well. So if you compare, I'm going to open up my feed right now, just to show you our Instagram feed so that you understand what I'm talking about. So if you take a look at this feed right here, right, we do more visuals, more graphics, and also we do short videos, 1 minute videos. If it's longer, usually it's an IGTV video, but our IGTV video does half the views of our videos. So I would recommend that you look at what are the opportunities on each platform. For Facebook Live, it does very well. It does better than our IGTV Live. So I would do more IGTV Live on, I'll do more live video on Facebook Live than IGTV Live. So these are the opportunities, right? So if you go to our Facebook page, you see that a lot of it are videos, but sometimes because we have all this infographics, we usually choose our top performing or very informative ones to put on Facebook. Okay, so if you go to our Facebook page, you would see that. But then what about YouTube? What do we do with YouTube? So if you look here, a lot of things like SMART goals, these are things where we do have a graphic for it, but we actually elaborate more on YouTube. So what are the opportunities for YouTube? It is not only a video platform, it's not only a social media platform, it is also the second largest search engine. So I would invest content, and we show up at least 2 to 4 times a month on YouTube. We show up at least 2 to 4 times on Instagram. We show up at least 1 time a week on Facebook. So what are opportunities? Even LinkedIn has its own opportunities, right? So let's go on to the SWOT analysis about. So let's talk about weakness. So what is our weakness? I must say that when I first started, I wasn't as good with videos. I think I only started to be more comfortable with videos in 2019, and I would say it's late 2019. It wasn't even early 2019. And 2020, because of COVID-19 going virtual, just practicing in the late of 2019 actually helped. Okay, so everything digital, our contents digital, because it was circuit breaker in Singapore, I did 2 to 3 Facebook Live videos a week on our Facebook Live. Then I decided to also do YouTube Live. But as I mentioned to you, you have to try out to know whether certain type of contents work well on each platform. For YouTube Live, it does all right, but eventually the search and the views actually do go down and stagnate. Okay, so what is our weakness? What is our threat? So I wasn't good at video, so I show up more on Instagram. I show up more with graphics, right? But eventually when we were good or comfortable with videos, that is no longer our weakness. So when you understand your weakness, turn it into your strengths, turn it to an opportunity for you, especially when people are not doing as much videos. I would say that you should start practicing to create videos. Now, threats. What are threats? So looking at industry, there are always competitors out there. So when we look at social media, what are some threats? Threats is when you realize that, hey, I only had 800 followers and I was getting like 500 to 600 organic reach, but then the machine got smarter, the machine learning on the social media platforms, we like to call it algorithms, but actually it's machine learning, just learning smarter and having different signals to tell them whether this is the content that people are looking for. So the reach drops. So those are our threats. So then what do? Then we need to have an advertising budget. Okay. Now, whether it's an expense on advertising or an investment, I will leave that to another day. I did have this video maybe in 2019, but I would actually be sharing more about looking at it as an investment, and also an ROI calculation. How do you calculate your return on investment with your social media ads? So I'm going to give you, I'm going to share about funnels. I'm going to share about some of the things that you can consider as you calculate your return on investment. Okay, now SWOT analysis, I hope that that helps you. And usually we also use this SWOT analysis to map it to our competitor. We pick 2 to 3 competitors with similar following, similar brand positioning, and we ask ourselves, or even like someone, agency or a competitor that is doing much better, we ask ourselves, where do we stand? Where do we stand with them? So with this, we look at what are their strengths and what are their weakness. And usually I will pick on their weakness to work on ourselves. So their weakness becomes like a tipping point for customers to choose us, right? And one of the things is that agencies seldom have videos like this. It's less personable because too many people are in the agency, right? So boutique, small agencies, people who, you are self-employed, you are able to do social media and digital marketing, don't look at it as a weakness. Actually, in fact, you appeal to a certain group of people. Of course, there are certain sizes of projects that you can take, and that's when you might need want to looking for collaborative agency partners, right? Bigger projects, but you appeal to a client, but maybe because of resources, videos, right? Because most of us are not jack of all trades. We are usually better at something than something else. But there are some of us who are good at everything, right? We are jack of all trades. Um, I wouldn't say that we are master of none, but we are jack of all trades. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to the next part. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I have this thing called the social media marketing strategy framework. And I realized that a lot of clients have a misconception to what a strategy is. A strategy means what are some things you're going to do to help you to get to your goal. Okay, the strategy is where we are now so that we can bring you to where you want to be. And where you are now, you should also have short-term goals. 3 months is good, or if some clients, they like to take 3 to 6 months as short-term goals, 1 to 2 years as long-term goals. These are some that I've suggested to some of my clients, right? Short-term goals can be improving of your captions, your copywriting, your tone, your style. How can you increase engagements? I mentioned this before in one of my videos. Start asking questions, stop telling. Just imagine that a child, if you tell them, hey, it's time to bathe, instead of, would you like to bathe? You will get a reply, right? Usually it's a no lah, because they don't like bathing or whatever the reason. But those are interactions, those are conversations. So that's why when we want to increase engagements, there must be certain things that you want to change. Okay, so we can't say that we don't want to change anything and we want an increase in engagements. Now, let's move on to long-term goals. Okay, I made some suggestions here, but my favorite would always be to be very specific. Use SMART goals. SMART goals means specific, measurable, attainable. Whether is it relevant? I also like to ask my clients whether it's realistic. I do have many clients who have big goals, difficult to meet due to the ever-changing algorithms of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Right. In fact, we grew our YouTube subscribers mainly during the COVID period. After that, it actually slowly declined, although we were showing up quite often. Okay, so you see that when people are home, they actually tend to spend more time on social media platforms, digital platforms. So always be specific, always use SMART goals. The last T of the SMART is time bound. How much time are you going to give yourself? A lot of people want results in 1 to 2 months. And I can tell you that education is a strategy. But education cannot be a short-term strategy. It's a long-term strategy over the next 2 years or more. Because we can't suddenly say that I want to educate you, and then after 2 years, I don't want to educate anymore. Education is an ongoing process, an ongoing type of content strategy, social media strategy that helps you stand out as a business. All right. Many business can actually educate their customers. Even if I were to say that I'm a beauty business or F&B, I can educate you of what are some things to look out for in skin types for facial, eyebrow shapes, lips, eyelash, right? What are some treatments to look out for, how to care for your eyelash, right? That helps you. That helps me as a brand to attract you to me, and that helps you to choose me over my competitors, right? So education is a strategy that we use all the way. It's not something that we say, okay, I'd like to try 6 to 12 months, and then after that, maybe not, right? If I'm F&B, I can educate you on, what are some benefits of eating chicken, beef, fish, what's a healthy diet, right? Some things that people do not know, the benefits of some superfoods, things like that. So it is possible, right? And so that I think would be long-term goals. It would be educational. If currently you have 50 enquiries, you want to increase it, long-term goal, right? You want to increase it to say by 100%. Put it as a long-term goal or short-term goal, up to you, right? But it must be attainable. It must be a goal that's attainable. If we're not doing something different, whether is it changing the way that we communicate, changing our graphics, improving our graphics, hiring a better designer, a freelance designer, hiring a better agency to help you reach your goals, then at the end of the day, you keep reviewing, you have not met your goals because there are things that you have not changed. Maybe you are still working with the same agency. Maybe you're still working with the same designer. Can you send your designer for training? Okay, so these are things where these are two frameworks that I use, two slides that I use with my clients, school students, startups that I teach, that I train at, that I train with. Okay, so that's all from me today, and I hope this video is helpful in some way for you. And if it is, do drop a comment below, say hi, so that I know that people who are those people who have been supporting our channel. And we definitely want to create more content that are helpful. So do let us know your questions, if any, about social media that you're struggling with. It's always good to hear from you, and also use your actual questions as our video content as well. If this video has been helpful, do remember to like, share, drop a comment, say hello, ask your questions, and I want to wish you a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.